Hi, this is Annie from the ADHD Minimalist, and today I'd like to talk about this box of stuff that my daughter recently threw out of her room. She got a new desk for her birthday, and then she kind of had to go through her old desk and then some other areas in her room to make space for the new desk. It was a little bit bigger than the old one, and this is what she came and gave me afterwards. And actually, there was a few more things in the box at that point, and then I asked her to go through it with me a little bit quick, and just make sure that there wasn't anything in there that she didn't want to get rid of. And then I think she took maybe 3 or 4 things, at the most 5, back in her room, and this is what's left. I mean, it's a decent sized box of stuff. So I'm gonna go through this and just sort of show you my process for when I'm sorting stuff, and hopefully that'll help you sort your stuff quickly and easily as well. If you need more tips about ADHD, family life with ADHD, or just minimizing, organizing, decluttering, all of these things, you can go to my blog, theadhdminimalist.com, as well as go over to my YouTube channel and check out some other videos. But for now, we're going to look through this box of stuff. We have this, which was actually hanging on her backpack that she bought this year before school. It had these little things that you're supposed to attach it to the backpack. So I honestly don't think I'm going to get rid of this. It could be that this is a good thing to put her snacks in. She doesn't need to take lunch to school, but she does need to take some snacks like carrot sticks or what other things, like an apple or something, to school. So I'm going to see if we can find a use for this. Otherwise, either I can talk her into taking it to the secondhand store, or possibly I might just have to take it out and put it in her, she has a box in the storage room in her box, and then she'll just have to go through it later when, if she gets rid of the backpack, this is basically worthless at that point. So I have here's a bag. Here is I have a bunch of boxes. Let's see if you can see this. I recently bought a toaster, and here's another one. So I'm just gonna sort this stuff into the boxes, and you can do bags as well. Usually it's helpful just to get some tape and to write on the box what's going in there, but honestly, I'm not really sure what's in this box, so I haven't written any categories. But normally I would have a bag or a box for trash, a bag or a box for hand-me-downs if the child that you're decluttering for has younger brothers or sisters, or maybe the hand-me-downs go to a friend, a box for stuff that goes to the secondhand store, and maybe a box for stuff that you're going to sell could also be useful. So anyway, these are some suggestions. You might even need a box for stuff that you're keeping. Maybe you find that your child threw out a sentimental item that their great-grandma gave them, and you only have this one thing from your great-grandma, and your child doesn't realize that it's important, but it's important for the family, and so you need to keep that for your child. But I suggest not keeping too many sentimental items. Just keep the ones that, preferably the ones that you can have out and display in your home and use. But I know that I do have some sentimental items that we do not have out in our house, and we're not using them at the moment, but things that I just felt like it was special enough that somebody in the family that is no longer with us had given it to one of our kids, and it was special enough to keep it, and it didn't take up that much space. I mean, we're talking about some things from my husband's grandpa that, I don't know, most items are not bigger than this. They're either material that's been folded, or kitchen, a few things from the kitchen, a little tray, and I think maybe a few dishes that used to be in his house. So not a ton of stuff, but just a few select items that just sort of reminded us of him. And I'm hoping that one day the kids will take their box of sentimental items and move it with them to wherever they're going to live and actually get this stuff out and use it. But you never know. Sometimes sentimental items don't ever get used, and maybe at that point you might need to think about if it's worth keeping or not. But that is something to do on a day when you feel like you've decluttered everything else. When you're done decluttering the whole rest of your house, in your storage room, in your guest room, and everything, and then you can turn your attention to sentimental items. So for now, if you find one when you're decluttering a box of stuff like this, your child comes with a bunch of stuff and says, please get rid of this. And you have to go through it. Then just put the sentimental items in a box in the storage room for now and save it for a day when you feel like you've exercised your decluttering muscles and you're ready for a challenge, and then you can go through your sentimental items. So for now, we're just gonna put this in the keep box. We'll make this the keep box. Okay, this is one of those potties for little dolls, and honestly, my daughter had one of these before and she threw it out of her room, so I decluttered it, and then somebody gave her one of those dolls that pees, and so I had to buy another one because it didn't come with a potty. And honestly, I think though at this point she's not using dolls as much as she used to, and I think it's time for this to go. And honestly, I can find these at the secondhand store for probably like, I don't know, 50 cents to $1 if we need to buy another one. So it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this and put this in the box for, actually I'm going to make that the bag for secondhand items. These are my daughter's flip-flops that she's worn all year or I guess all season, warm season. We live in Sweden, and so it gets really cold, and these are not useful in the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in a box of stuff that is summer stuff that we might use. We have a vacation booked in May to go somewhere warm, and then maybe these are useful then, or maybe they're too small, but I'm going to just wait to get rid of these until I know that she's going to use them on vacation or not. Again, doll clothes. I don't think this goes to any specific doll. I think it came in like somebody gave her like a bag of doll clothes at one point. And so I'm just going to go ahead and declutter this. Then here, this is part of my problem. We redid my daughter's room a few years ago, and I have not got the curtains up. And I had two choices. It's like these ones that were lace or these ones that were material, and they had a little bit of lace on them. These, she has, I don't know, most things in the room are white, and then she has some retro wallpaper. And I was going to put up some white curtains just because it was neutral beside the retro wallpaper. And the problem is that I haven't bought a blackout blind for her bedroom, and I've just been like, I hung 2 nails and put a black sheet up like as a provisoris. I think that's what I want to say. Just like a temporary fix. And that temporary fix we've been having for the last 2 years. It's really terrible. And the problem is that I haven't measured her window. So every time I go, I drive an hour to the city, and then I'm like, I should really buy one of those blackout blinds. And then I realize I don't know what size to buy, and my husband wasn't home, so I couldn't call him and ask him to measure. So what I used to have in my purse was a little paper that had measurements for different walls and different things. At the time it was, we just bought the house, and we were newly married, and we had just had a child, and I was pregnant, and we didn't have a lot of extra money. We were like buying all this baby stuff, and so I needed to fill the house with stuff. And so some stuff we got from my husband's parents or other relatives, like stuff they didn't need. But then we still had some stuff that I was like, well, I would really like something, I don't know, some sort of cabinet to go in this specific wall. And then if I had the measurements, if I was in the city and I was running around to different secondhand stores, then if I found something, I knew that it was worth buying or not, because it would either fit or not. And I had all the measurements. So I need to start doing that again and just measure the stuff that we need to buy and just always have it in my purse until I actually get it bought, so then I can throw away my notes. So anyway, that's a good tip if you're a young couple and you have a new house and all your money went into the house, you need furniture. I found some really great antique pieces at secondhand stores for good prices. And sometimes I think the good price was just because I was willing to like get people to help me move this huge heavy item of furniture that nobody else wanted to move because it was a pain, and maybe you had to rent a trailer, but in the end you got a really great item for your home and it was a good deal. So just keep your measurements in your purse or in your wallet, maybe if you're a guy, and then just measure everything, have a tape measure in your car, and then you're good to go. You won't ever spend a lot of money and like all that time to move something into your house and put it down and then be like, oh no, it doesn't fit. Okay, so these I'm going to keep for later, and I'm going to measure my daughter's window today and get that note in my pocket. This is a doll's jacket, and it's a little bit sentimental because I think that maybe this is something my grandma made and that my mom or one of my mom's sisters played with, because I got this with a bunch of stuff that my family had been using, and so there were some other doll clothes, and some of the other doll clothes were so bad off that I had to throw them away. They were just threadbare, but this one is in pretty good shape. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep this, but it probably needs to go in my sentimental box because this is sentimental for me, not necessarily for my kids. So we're gonna put that in the key box for now, and then I'm gonna have to go out to the storage room and sort that again. I didn't bring enough boxes today. Here's another thing. This was a little bit sentimental, and that's why I've held onto it for so long. My aunt made this for me. It's for those Cabbage Patch dolls. They're kind of homely, but they're a little bit fun. I had a bunch of those when I was little, and she made this for my dolls. I think at one point it had pants. The pants are gone. Can't find them, but it's got spots on it and stuff. I've spilled a bunch of stuff on there, and the fuzzy bunny is full of gross stuff, so that it turned gray instead of white. So I'm gonna say goodbye to this now, and I really enjoyed playing with this when I was a kid, but there does come a time when you just need to say goodbye to things because my kids aren't playing with dolls anymore, and it's really not in very good shape. This is a blanket that someone made for my daughter for her dolls, and I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this for a little bit, and then I'm going to, no, I'm not actually. It has a hole in it. Apparently she cut a hole in it with the scissors. So we're going to say goodbye to this then. Goodbye. And I mean, if I was doing a lot of sewing crafts, I used to sew a lot, but I don't do that as much anymore. And I would probably have saved that and cut it up. But one thing I did find is that I saved at one point a whole bunch of jeans, the kind of jeans that don't have stretch. They're a little bit better to sew. And then I had this huge bag full of jeans, and other people in the family were giving me jeans because they knew I was making pillows out of them. And what happened was it just got to be too much. So I realized that as soon as I got a new pair of jeans or somebody gave me one that I was going to make a pillow out of it, the best thing to do was just to get out one of those, those things that you have when you quilt that you put under that have the grid on them so you can see that you're making straight lines. Get one of those out, and then get out one of those rolling cutters and just cut the jeans so they were the right size, because a lot of that material was it was waste. I mean, I couldn't do anything with the big bulky seams or some of the really weird pieces. I was mainly like making strips, so it was sort of like, maybe a little bit like quilting, but the pillows were long strips of jeans in different colors, just sort of stripes like that. And so I cut out the pieces and I just threw the rest away. And then the storage space that I needed for all that stuff went from like this huge, enormous bag to like this. So it was at least half, probably a third of the size that it was before. So my suggestion is, if you're going to keep something like that blanket and cut it up and reuse some of the material, is to go ahead and cut it up right away, because that will save you a whole lot of space. Okay, this is a dress. I think this actually went to the doll that was peeing, to feed it water and it peed. Anyway, so this goes to a specific doll, and I'm 99% sure we still have the doll, so we're going to keep this for now, and maybe if she ever wants to get rid of the doll, we can at least give it away with clothes on. Okay, this is something that goes with the kids' Barbies, and I think I'm going to just put this with the Barbie stuff. It must have just got separated, and it's kind of one of those things. I usually have tubs of toys in the storage room, and then we'll bring in like one kind of toy, like for instance the Barbies, and it's more than one tub at this point because the girls got some furniture that was kind of bulky for the Barbies. But I'm not sure if they're done with the Barbies yet or not. So it's kind of like one of those things. Eventually, kids will grow out of those, whatever's in the tubs, and then I've just sold it or given it away if it wasn't anything that was sentimental, like we should keep it for grandkids. So the Barbies, It's still kind of out there. I'm not sure. We haven't used them for the last, I don't know, 6 months or something. So we'll have to see. To bring them in and see if they're a hit again. Otherwise, I'll probably go through them and then just keep some of the Barbies that were more special. Maybe there's 1 or 2 that was mine when I was a kid. And maybe there's a couple that the kids really enjoyed. And then some of them they didn't play with as much. So I think we'll just have to like get rid of a lot of it and just keep the essentials. And then I don't have to have like a bad conscience about like getting rid of all the kids' Barbies. Anyway, it's kind of like a hard thing sometimes to know, like, I don't want to keep too much stuff. Like, my oldest is going to be 16 after Christmas this year. So, it's still going to be a lot of years before my kids are completely grown and have their own kids. And so I don't want to keep too many things that, I mean, if I'm going to keep it because my grandkids might want it, I'm going to be keeping that in my storage for years and years and years and years. And there's a few things that are special enough that maybe they warrant that keeping for years and years. But sometimes you can find creative ways to get around that. For instance, the kids had this train track that was made out of wood. And usually those are really well made and they'll last for a long time. And then maybe like some of the trains we had that went by themselves that had batteries, they sort of like died. So the ones that are left are the wooden ones those are a little bit better made so that they last longer. But anyway, so my work, sometimes I have kids at work that want to play with toys, and a lot of the toys that were there were just sort of like trashed. So we went through the toys at work and purged all of the toys that were broken and threw them out, and there wasn't much left. So I just have like loaned all of those wooden train toys, which was a tub, I don't know, like not really one of those biggest Rubbermaid tubs, but like a smaller one that was full of parts for making trains. And I've loaned that to my job. It can be there as long as it needs to be there, and I don't have to have it in my storage room. And then when I need it, I can just take it back, and maybe I'll have some other toys at that point that I can just let my work borrow or keep. So anyway, maybe you can think of a solution. Maybe your church needs some toys for the nursery that are like really good toys that can take a beating. Then these wooden toys are really good at that. Or maybe there's, I don't know, somewhere else like a place where parents can take their kids and play with them during the day or something that also needs stuff, and just let them know it's a loan and put your name on under the box or something. And maybe when you need that actual toy back, you can come with something else to replace it with. So that's just something that worked for me. It might not work for everybody. Oh, this is funny. There's a whole bunch of diapers in here because my daughter was playing with them with her dolls. But my niece had a baby, so maybe we can just give these to her. I think we actually have a pack of diapers out in the storage room that we need to give to her because they weren't as popular as they used to be, and dolls aren't very popular right now. So I don't think we're using those anymore. This is a candle. I don't know. I don't honestly know if this works. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out if this works or if it doesn't work. But it's one of those candles that have batteries that are supposed to look real. I don't know. I kind of feel like my kids just turn these on and forget to turn them off. And I don't know if this one has a timer, and they just eat batteries. So I'm not really sure, honestly, what I think about keeping this, but I will first check and see if it works. Oh, this one doesn't look like it's in good shape, so that one's going in the trash. Here we have some like weird random craft stuff. One candy. So this is just trash. This is, I think, a Barbie toy as well, a backpack. So that needs to go to the Barbies. And this is something my mom gave to my youngest daughter. It's some sort of squishy, and I think she would probably be upset if I threw this out. So I'm just going to keep this for a little while, and if she doesn't ask for it in the next 6 months or something, maybe it's time for us to donate it. I don't know. It's kind of nice. It's like a stress ball. Maybe we can repurpose that. All right. Well, there was a box in the box. Here we have a baby Monchichi, and whatever this is. This must be an outfit for a toy dog. I think we're just going to donate that. Where do I have the donate pile? Over there. Manji Chi, I believe this was my husband's when he was little, so maybe this just needs to go in his box of nostalgic things. Okay, another diaper that I think we're just gonna throw that one away. Okay, other than that, we just have like assorted random craft stuff. I don't know, like stuff she was making with hot glue and things. And this I could use for, I have a few things listed on eBay that if I sell them, I kind of need this sort of wrapping. So I can reuse that. Oh, another diaper bag. Okay, so this is pretty much just trash. This is Play-Doh. Ooh. The question is if this Play-Doh is actually, you know, I think this is just old enough that it's crumbling instead of like forming into other shapes. So we're gonna throw that away. I think that is everything here now. So we have, this is now all trash. Recycling is, there's just a couple batteries in there. I don't know if you can see them. Recycling. This box was, oh, you know what? I actually started 2 boxes to keep. That was silly. Okay, so this one just had flip-flops in it. This is supposed to keep for, in case we need it on summer vacation, but I can actually just put that in here. And I didn't really sort this stuff out. I just figure I'll take this out to the storage room and just put it in the boxes. We have plastic tubs in the storage room, and if my daughter has her own tub, so then this doll clothes thing would go in that tub. This one would go in my tub that is like childhood items, and this one would go in my husband's as childhood items. So I just need to just take this all out to the storage room and sort in all the tubs. And so that doesn't really take that long. You just kind of like lift the lid and put something in there and go on to the next one. And I try not to let the kids have too many tubs because they have a tub that's for, I mean, like items from when they were small, like some cute little outfits and some things that maybe they want to have when they're grown. So I have that tub that's sort of items to keep, but then they also have a tub that is more like a temporary tub where they can put stuff. They don't, I want to have this in my room, and they can bring me stuff, and then they don't want to get rid of it. So I'll put it in a tub, but when that tub is full, then they have to go through it. If they want to add more stuff to it, they have to get rid of something, which either has to go to the trash or to the secondhand store. But lots of times there's art projects and stuff in there that they want to hold on to it when they just made it, and then after 6 months when they see it next time, they're kind of like, oh, it wasn't as good as I thought. And so a lot of that stuff just gets thrown away, and then they'll put something new in it. So anyway, that's been a way to get stuff out of the kids' bedrooms without having a big hassle. The kids are a little bit different. My youngest, she'll bring me stuff. Like she brought me all this stuff and wanted me to dispose of it or put it in the other house or whatever she'll call it. Sometimes she'll bring me stuff and tell me to donate it to somebody we know who has a baby or somebody we know who has a younger child. But she does that on a regular basis. My oldest is also pretty good about getting rid of some types of things. My middle daughter wants to keep everything, so having this tub in the other house for her to put extra stuff in and then going through it has been a way for me to negotiate getting things out of her bedroom, because her room is small, and if she keeps everything in there, she's not going to function in there. So it's just, I mean, we're talking about like one of those like normal sized Rubbermaid tubs is about the size of these tubs that I have. Unfortunately, I can't get these Rubbermaid tubs in Sweden. I saw them once at a store, and I was like, told my husband, I was like, we should probably get some of those because they're really good quality. And then next time I went back to the store, they were all gone. I think it was one of those just like a one-time thing. So I guess I missed my chance, but we've done a lot of decluttering, and we do have a lot of empty plastic containers in the other house. And I'm holding on to them for a little while because I haven't been quite sure which ones we need and which ones we don't need, but the idea is to just continue to declutter, and in the end I can just donate all of the empty plastic boxes that we don't need anymore. So hopefully somebody else will eventually get blessed with those. So that's just how I kind of go through things. I just make sure that I either make piles or I have bags or I have boxes, and then I sort stuff out. And then I make sure that right away I get it out to where it's supposed to go. So as soon as I turn off this video, I'm going to need to run out to the storage room with this box of storage room stuff. I'm going to need to take the trash to the trash. I'm going to need to put secondhand items in the car. They'll sit in the car for a whole week because I'm not going to the city until next Friday. So they're going to sit there for a while, and every once in a while I've had to like bring them back to the car because my husband accidentally brought them to the house. But that's generally what I do. I just let it sit in the trunk, and then every time I go to town I'll try to leave stuff, even if it's just a little bit of stuff. At least I'm getting it out of my house. So but please go over to my blog, theadhdminimalist.com, and check that out. There's tips for how to declutter items in your house that you won't miss. So that's a really great place to start. And on the blog there's like lists of things and like bullet points with all of these items that you won't miss for different areas in the house. On my YouTube channel there's videos about the same thing. So it's pretty much me talking, and I have these lists, and it's like things that you're not going to miss if you get rid of them. For instance, board games that your children have lost the parts to that you can't play anymore. That's one thing that I ended up throwing out when I went through and decluttered the house. And so seriously, it's one of those silly things, like you think you're going to find the parts, and we even like re-wallpapered a lot of the house and moved all the furniture away from the walls and stuff, and those parts never came to the light of day. So we do not know if my child has flushed them down the toilet or what, but they're gone. And so eventually I have to just realize that those things are gone, and it's better just to throw it away. And then if we really miss playing this game, then we can buy a new one in the future that's whole. Or maybe we haven't played it for so long that nobody really cares that we throw it out, because if we haven't had the pieces, we haven't played it anyway. So anyway, but it's a list of like all of these items for your office and for your kitchen and for your living room and stuff, lists of things that are easy to get started with. So I hope that you will be able to use those lists, and that will be helpful for you. So thanks for spending part of your day with us, and have a great day.